things I've always had a bit of a problem with for the actual Naruto anime is that, in the same vein as with Bleach, how they get some characters wrong, some of the characters in the Naruto anime look alright, but they don't really do them justice. I think Darui's loading screen model, it pretty much is the perfect example of how to do this character proper. Because he looks so awkward in some anime shots.
Yeah, he
In
does.
his loading screen thing here for the game, he looks awesome, like a true badass.
Mm.
Also, the loading screen he has from the boss battle with Genkaku and Genkaku. I think I just said one of their names twice.
No, you said him differently.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually paying attention. Don't worry. Who's next? Hey, your favorite character.
Yay. I love Hidan. He's one of the funniest characters ever. Also, he's a badass and he's like immortal.
He took down Asuma. That's enough explanation by itself. He is like he's like a witch doctor mixed with a Highlander. Holy fuck, that's cool.
Yeah, but his head got cut off and he still didn't die though.
Although apparently in the anime he did technically die because he got resurrected through Hito Tensei. Don't ask me how.
No, he didn't. He was. Oh.
He did.
Oh god, I forgot about that filler arc.
He did.
Yeah, the Chikara arc. I remember that now. That arc was actually pretty good, but that's a complete and total plot hole and filler though, because that didn't happen in the manga, and all anime stuff is non-canon. So.
Yeah, I know. But even then, the fact that they actually tried pulling it off is ridiculous.
But I love Hidan so much that I actually spent like $8 to buy his Jashin necklace.
Which actually is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. The problem is it's a little tighter on my neck though.
Yeah, he could probably just take it off the chain, put it on a new chain.
The problem though is it's one of those ones that's actually like really small, so you wouldn't be able to use it for other ones.
Damn it. I'll be able to find something. By the way, apparently Hayden, well, I pronounce this Hayden, he gives me shit for that every time. Apparently, he's actually really amazing as an assist, more so in Generations because he was completely invincible.
Yeah.
And invincible assists are god tier.
No, they're basically the spam crap, like Lee. But he was actually nerfed in Storm 3. It's actually funny. Some of the characters were completely left unchanged, but some of them were actually nerfed.
Strange how I do that.
What time are we on?
26 minutes.
This is going slower than I thought it would.
Yeah, alright.
Even though it's only been like 10 fights, it feels like it's been like 18.
Sorcery. Oh boy. Well, at least he's not using his doll form like in Rev 3.
Doll form.
Yeah, when he's actually like using himself. It's been a while since I had to use myself. Which sounds no better every time I say that.
I think Sorcery's still actually one of my favorite characters.
It's because I haven't watched the fight again in so long. I can't say yes or no, but I do like him. He's actually pretty cool.
That fight, he was actually pretty badass, especially with the bloodshot dilated eyes.
Yeah.
Bad.
Doosh.
Also, you will spam with the hell out of that throw, and I hate it.
Ah, man.
Oh, thank you. I like how in some cases, if you have enough chakra, you can do a battle completely in the air. Because I've actually seen people do that online.
Yeah.
Spectator mode is fun.
Then again, it's not quite like on the same level as Dissidia, where you are in the air for the entire fight. At that point, you might as well not even have ground. Which in some cases you don't.
The Rift.
Yep, the Rift.
I like that level. It's really fun because it's like one of the biggest levels in the game.
It is the biggest level in the game.
It is. By the way, that brings me to another plot hole in
No way, it's not.
Duodecim.
It's not the Cradle.
Oh.
Why are we talking about Duodecim right now? I only mentioned it. Well, you can talk about it anyway since we need content to talk about.
Because we're only about halfway through, and pretty much until I die, which is never going to happen. Like I said, this thing will go on forever.
Good and
but one of the things that I hate about Dissidia Duodecim is that they have a playable level called the Rift, and pretty much one of the final plot points and areas that they had to go to in the 012 story was a place called the Rift where all the clones were coming out of.
And that Rift was actually just
that was the level from Final Fantasy 11.
It was, yeah. I like that level, but granted, but I just really I find that kind of dumb. Also, I agree with you.
Because it's like, if you're gonna do that, use a new name or use a different one. Call the level something else.
Kind of wish the level did more by itself too. Granted, they have the moving platforms, but that by itself for the Rift, which is like complete chaos.
The Rift the level or the Rift the story point?
Rift the level. Oh. It doesn't. It's not that dynamic for what you'd expect it to be. I think.
It's just meant to be a big area with lots of places to dodge and hide.
Yeah, I think Final Fantasy 3 is a much better representation of the Void, with the level they had.
You mean with the giant sky penises?
Yeah.
The pillars?
Yes.
What do you mean? What do you mean the castle tower thing, where you're in that little garden area with a giant castle in the middle of the screen?
Ugh, I hate that level.
I actually kind of like it because it means you actually have to think about your areas.
I
I actually like some of the smaller ones because you actually have to think about what you're doing so you don't fall off or get hit into things. One of my favorite levels, because it's just a straightforward rectangle, is the Phantom Train.
Yeah, I think so. That's really hectic. But I kind of don't like some of those levels because they're lacking in color compared to the rest of the levels.
This actually reminds me, since we keep talking about it so much, story time. Dissidia Duodecim, because I got it day one, is actually how I met Bob.
He totally is, yeah.
And the first day he got it, the first thing I did was give him one of my save files because it's the Final Fantasy game and you can have like 8 million. We did Feral Chaos versus Feral Chaos with the 150,000 health thing on the Phantom Train.
We were there for a while.
That fight took like 45 minutes. I think we actually might have saved replays.
I did, but I don't have it on my PSP anymore. I think you might if you saved it.
Yeah. I tend to save everything without deleting stuff.
And you wonder why you're lacking space to download more games.
I don't mind deleting stuff off my PSP. I have a 16 gig memory card.
Yeah.
And really, if I want to double my space, all I have to do is spend like $11 to buy another 16 gig micro SD card.
If only the Vita memory card was that lenient. Nope.
The Vita memory card is too tiny. You can't put micro SD in there.
No.
Although give it a couple years. The workaround that I have for PSP didn't come out until like 2010, I think.
What was the workaround you found?
The workaround is that I have because Sony, when they use their memory formats, they use them for multiple things. Originally, the PSP memory card was just for the PSP. And 2 years after the PSP came out, they started using that for cameras.
Oh god.
They started putting that same input on computers.
Ooh.
You could actually plug the Pro Duo memory stick onto computers on some of the Sony computers.
So
It was nice, but it wasn't really useful.
I like how you're just zoning him out that entire fight.
I
know it.
So what the thing I do is I have this little converter thing that I guess we might be able to shop one in because I have pictures where it has two little slots for micro SD cards. It's like a little base converter thing, kind of like what I use for my microphone, where my microphone is actually a red and green cable. Instead, I have a converter set up to use USB. So it's like that, but instead it has two slots for micro SD cards. I have a 2 gig and I have a 16 gig. It reads the 16 gig, but for some reason it won't read the 2 gig, so I don't use it. I instead use that 2 gig for music on my phone.
Hey, by the way, there's a question. Do you actually still buy? Do you have everything unlocked in this game already, or are you still buying stuff? Because I noticed your money count goes up quite a bit every time you beat someone.
Really, the only thing you buy in this game is
Islands for story mode.
Yeah, pretty much. And that and viewer content, like unlock character voice or profile picture or whatever.
How bad is it with trying to unlock voices for that game? I've seen some games where it's really bad with trying to unlock stuff.
I think it's just to pay a high amount of money in the shop, because what they call that shop in the story mode, if you ever played Storm 2 or Storm 3, Bandai General Store. They literally,
Wait, what?
It's literally called the Bandai Store.
Why is it called? I know why it's called a Bandai store, but why is it called the Bandai store?
I'll show you later.
Okay, that'll be something, I guess.
Shino is doing surprisingly better than I thought he would.
Well, he went right into Awakening as soon as the match started, so that's why.
It's kind of scary, actually, when he does things like that.
Yeah.
Plus, him having the projectile. He's a low-tier character, but when he actually gets to using those projectiles, wow.
Pretty good way to shut someone down, yeah.
Where was I?
You talked about a PSP converter of some kind.
Oh yeah. So I use 2 micro SD cards. And micro SD cards are basically the cheapest form of memory right now. So I can get like a 16 gig or 32 gig for about. You can get a 32 gig for about $15 and a 16 gig for like 11. The PSP's memory though caps out at 32, and since 32 gig memory sticks that are just PSP memory sticks are 32 gigs, actually don't even register on the PSP. Like you won't even acknowledge that it's there. It'll just say there's no memory card.
Hey Brandon.
What?
Does one do like red shockwaves come up off characters when they do super moves? I'm watching Shino do it, and whenever he uses like the bug bomb, it just like 2 red rings come up around him.
I'm done with you. You're annoying me.
Okay, I'll go away now.
There we are.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have that, and the PSP won't register anything bigger than 16 gig. And you can double your output by actually maxing out by getting one of those converters and putting in two 16s.
Impressive.
So I just need to find one of these days buy another one, because I've had this set up for like 2 years and I never bothered to actually buy another one. I actually think I stole the memory card from my mom's BlackBerry, because she doesn't know how to use it. So I'm gonna take this. You're gonna be stuck with the 2 gigs of internal memory your phone has.
I can't say I haven't done that before myself. Like, you're not using this, so fine.
That's my philosophy on last year when they supposedly bought me a new computer for school, but instead decided to keep it for themselves and give me a hand-me-down Vista from the year 2006. My whole thing for that was, you don't know how to use any of this stuff. Give it to me and do the things you know how to do on the computer you've already been used to and have hundreds of gigabytes worth of files on for the last 6 years.
Oh, hi, Brian is dead.
Hold on.
Renegade Pepsi.
Okay. I almost spilled my drink.
Renegade Pepsi.
It's funny you actually mentioned this, because I remember this one time doing that exact same gag to Phil.
You did. I remember that exactly.
Because everyone in the room was laughing when I did that. Because he was talking something about
masturbating or something like that.
Something about accepting your sexuality and being able to admit.
I think he was
that
like
that men can attract you even if you aren't homosexual or something. And then everyone was silent for a few seconds. And then I was like, because he's sitting at the angle where he's looking at the TV. I was at the side angle where I can see the entrance and the TV. So it was silent for a few seconds, and my first response is, "Oh, hi, officer," because there's this school security officer that works at the school, and he comes in every now and then to talk to us and sit down for a few minutes. So we talk to him.
He's a cool guy, basically.
Yeah. Better than the officer I had in high school.
Hint, hint. Donzo is one of the best characters in the game. Use him.